Are you looking for a job that can lead to a career opportunity? MCC and OPS have teamed up to provide education training and job opportunities. We're looking for people that want to learn and work at the same time. We have open enrollment for training in the field of construction and job placement. For more information, contact us at 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org. Again, that phone number is 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org. Are you looking for a job that can lead to a career opportunity? MCC and OPS have teamed up to provide education training and job opportunities. We're looking for people that want to learn and work at the same time. We have open enrollment for training in the field of construction and job placement. For more information, contact us at 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org. Again, that phone number is 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org.
Black people need to own our own businesses, which will provide an economic base. Teach our youth to become self-sufficient. Learn how to maximize our political affiliations and fight for criminal justice reform. You just tuned in to Black Power Presents with your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Come on, let's talk. Black people need.
All right, family, it's yours truly, Antonio Lipscomb. I am your host. Black Power Presents. As you all know, we are in the back part of our broadcast where we're looking to try to come on 1310, 92.7. So if you want to be a part of this show, feel free to dial 317-239-1310. I got my Souls to the Pole t-shirt going. I think I had it on last week. I'm still representing, making sure we get out and vote. So let's make sure we represent on the power and strength of the opportunity to being able to participate in this democratic process. So with that in mind, I'm waiting on the technician to cue us in. But while we're waiting, we got an exciting show. We got Larry Williams, which is over the Black Chamber of Commerce, is going to be with us, and also my good friend, my good newfound friend, young man by the name of Tevin, is going to be on the show today, and we're just excited about what's going on. I do want to show something to you guys when we get queued in. It's going to be a broadcast dealing with the holiday labor, and we want to try to figure out, what does this Labor Day mean? I mean, I always thought it just meant, you get a day off work and, you get a chance to eat some barbecue. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so we got 1 minute left in commercials. We'll be ready to rock and roll, all right?
All right, got 1 minute in commercials, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, so I always thought it was just about, just taking off, but I'm going to play a clip about how Labor Day came about. And then once I play this clip, then I'm going to be starting talking about, we're going to talk about Black business. We're going to talk about how we can be the ones that are actually supplying the labor instead of being the labor. I'm a preacher, so I almost asked for an amen on that when we need to become the ones who's providing the labor. All right. All right, so are you going to play our intro for the show?
Yeah, I got you. I'll count you down. I'm sorry, it's 30 seconds left. 12 now.
12 seconds.
And then you'll be on.
Okay. All right, so we're
going to be starting right on time, 6:05, right on time.
Cool. We're going to be starting right on time, 1310, 92.7, 317-205-705, 317-239-1310. I don't know what those other numbers were.
All right, here we go. I'm about to play your music.
All right.
All right, got your music playing now. We got
All right.
25 seconds.
25 seconds, gentlemen, and we'll be right on. And for the Facebook family, you guys are always welcome to come in and chime in, put some messaging in there. We'll try to find it and respond if we
All
can.
right, Antonio, you are on whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. I've included my radio listening audience. I am your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Black Power presents. Hey, we're just having another powerful broadcast here, and we're hoping that all technology is well for us. Uh, this is Labor Day weekend, and like I was talking to my Facebook family just a few minutes ago, we were concerned about, not necessarily concerned, just wanted to get some instructions on this Labor Day, what it means. And so we do try to educate our audience to see how we can learn something through our show. So I'm going to play a video that actually talks about Labor Day. And if you want to be a part of this broadcast, feel free to call in 317-239-1310. But let me show this some videos so that everybody can understand a little bit more about Labor Day.
From work in honor of work itself. Actually, that is what Labor Day, celebrated in the United States and Canada on the first Monday of every September, is all about. The first American Labor Day was celebrated in New York City on September 5th, 1882, as thousands of workers and their families came to Union Square for a day in the park. It was not a national holiday, but had been organized by a union to honor workers and their hard efforts with a rare day of rest halfway between July 4th and Thanksgiving. There were picnics and a parade, but there were also protests. The workers had gathered not just to rest and celebrate, but to demand fair wages, the end of child labor, and the right to organize into unions. During the period known as the Industrial Revolution, many jobs were difficult, dirty, and dangerous. People worked for 12 hours, 6 days a week, without fringe benefits such as vacations, health care, and pensions. And if you were young, chances are you were doing manual labor instead of your ABCs and fractions. Children as young as 10 worked in some of the most hazardous places, like coal mines or factories filled with boiling vats or dangerous machines. Trying to win better pay, shorter hours, and safer conditions, workers had begun to form labor unions in America and Canada. But the companies they worked for often fought hard to keep unions out and to suppress strikes. At times, this led to violent battles between workers and business owners, with the owners often backed up by the police or even the military. In the following years, the idea of Labor Day caught on in America, with official celebrations reaching 30 states. But then came the violent Haymarket Square riot of 1886, which led to the deaths of several policemen and workers in Chicago and the execution of 4 union leaders. After that, many labor and political groups around the world had begun to mark Haymarket Square on May 1st, which became known as International Workers' Day. In 1894, President Grover Cleveland signed the law making Labor Day a federal holiday in America, only days after he had sent 12,000 soldiers to end a violent railroad strike that resulted in the death of several people. The original September date was kept partly to avoid the more radical associations of May 1st. Canada also created its Labor Day in 1894. But in spite of this new holiday, it would be a long time before the changes that workers wanted became a reality. In 1938, during the Great Depression that left millions without jobs, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed a law calling for an 8-hour workday, a 5-day work week, and an end to child labor, some of the first federal protections for American workers. As America and Canada celebrate Labor Day, most of the two countries' children enjoy a day off from school. But it is important to remember that there was a time that every day was a Labor Day for children in America and Canada. And unfortunately, the same fact remains true for millions of children around the world today.
All right, family. So that was a clip on Labor Day. And I want to bring in one of my, I consider to be a friend, Larry Williams, which is over the Black Chamber of Commerce, and also I got Tevin with me. All right, all right. I got a nice little crew going here. We're gonna see what's going on. We're gonna see what's happening on Black Power Presents. How you gentlemen doing today?
I'm feeling good.
Doing great today.
Doing great, looking great. Hey, let me throw this out here real quick, Larry. I know you've been working with the Black Chamber for since 2015, if I'm not mistaken, right? And really, what I know, I don't know a lot, but I know that you, in my opinion, is a man of integrity because a lot of times people see a problem, but they won't do nothing about it. And not only that, um, when you have what you have in relations to what you do, you can easily just focus on, your company, and not necessarily worry about any other company, black company. You could easily do that and still probably forge a lot ahead a lot quicker with primarily just focusing on your business. I mean, right? I mean, why would you have a passion? You and Miss Anita Williams as your vice president. Why would you all even consider, the fact that, hey, you already got something going? Why stretch yourself? And I know what I know. I want to pass it to you, but I just want to be clear with our radio listeners. Please understand when you try to do anything, especially in the non-for-profit sector here in Indianapolis, as a black person, you're going to experience discrimination. You're going to be ostracized because there's big business and black people not uniting and coming together to serve each other. That's a big business. And so, unfortunately, you have to fight tooth and nail in order to get something accomplished here in Indianapolis when it comes to the collaboration of black folks. So, Larry, on this Labor Day weekend, I want to make sure that everybody salutes you in your efforts, in your passion, in your commitment to get something up off the ground that's of excellence that people can come and apply and be a part of and to help advance their business. So I salute you, brother. Thank you. And please tell us about your position, man.
Sure. So in 2013, we started a security company, uniform guards, off-duty police officers, armed guards. And so now, 2020, we have 72 employees and we do the whole state of Indiana. But in doing that, I found out that black businesses were not getting a piece of the pie. No one was making sure black businesses were surviving. And so it was a passion of mine and my mother's is to make sure that we help our black community through entrepreneurship. And that's what the Black Chamber is there for, is to grow the black community through entrepreneurship. And so that's our focus. We have 3 pillars. We're trying to make sure that people understand how to run a business. And then once they understand how to run it, we advocate to make sure that they get these contracts that are out there that people don't know about. And then once they get the contracts, then we help them as they build and their business grows, we get them employees through workforce development.
Well, I tell you what, that's just a phenomenal thing to do, Larry. I mean, I know for a fact the struggles, I don't know if you want to be transparent on this show and be honest about those struggles. I don't know how, politically correct that would be. But man, I know, especially in Indianapolis, it seems as though the powers to be, they are set up to use these rules to not necessarily apply to everyone, but to apply for those that need those rules to be applied for. I mean, I'm in it with you, brother. So trust me, I understand. And I want, if you would like to, just talk about that for a moment, because let me say this, because, and radio listeners, I need you to chime in on this. and also my Facebook family and friends. If you got a comment, go ahead and share it. But on this Labor Day weekend, we need to talk about how we can empower these businesses so that they can be the ones who are employing Black men and women. So, Larry, do you have any kind of story? I know you do, brother. I'm gonna try to pull it out today. I know you got some stories, man, that you can kind of, because it's all about education, right?
Right.
It's all about making us better as a city, as a community, as a state. And I think the governor was talking about that a little bit with his address. So let's hear from you, Larry. Give me some stories, man, that we can talk about, that you can let me know, what's really going on. Like Marvin Gaye say, what's really going on?
Yeah, man. So as the Black community, as far as nonprofit is concerned, there's only two major Black nonprofits that receive money. And so they give that to the two major Black nonprofits, and they shake their hands and they like, look, we gave to the Black community. But there are more than two Black organizations that are nonprofits in the state of Indiana. So, what we're asking is for them to focus more on nonprofits ran by Black people, because nonprofits that are ran by Black people do not get supported. But if you look at the white nonprofits, I mean, they can come up with a three-legged dog and they'll get $1 million by the end of the year, So that's a big issue here in Indianapolis. The other issue is, we don't, nonprofits don't get support. Like we don't have staffing because we don't have money for staffing. And so that's a big issue also. We have people in positions, like people have died so that we could get people into the city county council, the mayor's office. I mean, people have died so that Black people can get our people in there. And then once we get people in there, they're not worried about the Black people that are out here struggling. They make sure that they position themselves so that they can get what they need. And so if the white organization that's supporting them decides not to support black people, I mean, these people in these positions, they're gatekeepers. They won't let us in. They don't want to be fool. They don't want to fool around with other Black people. I mean, they have their position and they don't want to mess it up. And the whole reason why these people are died back in the 1950s to get people in that position is so you can advocate to make sure that you help us move forward. But that's not happening here in Indianapolis. It may happen in other cities, but in Indianapolis, that's not what's happening.
Well, I knew I was going to pull something out, and he just went on and went there. So thank you, Larry, for your honesty, because that's what's going to move the needle forward. I have a caller, your namesake, another Larry, that wants to address us. Go ahead, Larry. Let's get your comments.
Praise God. He's right. These people with the gatekeepers, they are in the place of blocking everything else. They got $5 billion to pass out to help Black businesses that are struggling. They should have went to his organization.
Hey, Larry. You broke up a little bit when you said that $5 million. Who got $5 million?
Our sister Tanya Bell over at Black Expo.
Okay, Black Expo, $5 million. Okay.
With the criteria that she's not going to give any of that money to Black businesses, and is that help their country on the table at the city. And I have that application, Anthony. Okay. You have to fill out with the city or the state to dump your guts on the table, and then they find out where your weak points is. They destroy your business, and they can't dispute that. Listen, if they had any good thing for Black businesses, what business is. You can't expect anybody to help your business as your competitor.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
for the sake of the show and how powerful what you said is, I'm going to stop you right there, not to cut you off, but I know that you have so much information. But I love the fact that you come on the show, man. Okay, so you, yes, sir. So, hey, thank you, Larry. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Okay. Yeah. So what Larry was talking about, he was talking about the fact that there are gatekeepers that get a certain amount of money from wherever. I don't know if it's from Lilly. I don't know if it's from the state. I don't know if it's from the county, whatever. But it's like they are the main groups that get it. A couple of groups to get it, and then for some reason, somehow, the struggling non-for-profits that are black seem like we're always marginalized. They want to try to paint us with the wrong picture, paint us with the wrong stroke, saying, oh, they didn't have their paperwork together or this or that or that or this. But when the other groups, the way that they deal with them, they don't even a lot of times have to fill out the paperwork. They just slide the money, and so now we need to figure out how can we address this. I got Tevin. Tevin, to me, I've known him briefly, but at the same time, just from my spirit of discernment, he seems to be a bright young man, shining star. I think that he has a pulse on the young community and how they would see things. And I wanted to bring Tevin into this show because I wanted to let him know how much we love and appreciate him and his new start of what he's doing in his life. And I wanted him to understand and I want him to explore his horizons of the level of intellect that he has. I want him to be able to see the path of strong black men in the direction that we're going down, because there's a responsibility for us as black men to pour back into our black young men, to give them a chance, a road and a chance and an opportunity to at least express themselves, whether we might agree to disagree, but let's hear from him to see where his point of view in relations to black businesses. I want to get your point. Go ahead, Tevin. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Hey, what's up, man? Go ahead. Well, I'm happy to be on the show. I appreciate it. Appreciate the invite, and I appreciate just the opportunity to speak on being a young black man in today's day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first and foremost, like I say, I wanna thank you. My life has recently just changed dramatically. I was just in Peoria, Illinois, is where I'm from. A little rough area in central Illinois. Grew up there in Chicago most of my life. Been back and forth my entire life. I've seen a lot of things. I've done a lot of things, seen a lot of things, got a lot of experiences under my belt. Good and bad. But ultimately, none of the experiences, stopped me, made me stagnant. It always made me wanted to go forward, no matter whether it was good or bad. I wanted to go forward. Like I want a future, and a lot of people don't feel like they have a future, especially like young black men, especially the ones I grew up around. They don't have any ambition. They don't have any goals because they don't see, black men prospering. Like I come from Peoria, Illinois, like I stated before. Statistically, I don't know what its statistics is now, but a couple of years ago, statistically, it was still, I think, one of the worst cities for black men to prosper in America. And with that being said, like the youth, especially like specifically black youth, black young men, we don't have that option to look around and see black people, prospering. We don't have the option to look around and see black people doing anything but, smoking, drinking, wasting their life away. So it kind of doesn't give you hope. And it makes you want to get out, instead of and venture off in the world and leave your own community, instead of wanting to learn and learn how to affect your community in a positive way, so you can uplift and bring the next generation, up better than how we came up. And this is like in Chicago, it was a lot different. I was usually going with my family places. My uncle, he owned after school program called the Work Study Enterprises in Chicago, Matson, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. So I got to learn a lot of things through my family, positive role models when they were around. When I got to be around that. So it's like that those experiences with my uncles or with the positive side of my family just made me want more of it. And it made me want to bring that back to where I'm originally from, which is Peoria, Illinois. You know, I want to see Black people prospering everywhere. That's something that I wish I could see. You feel me? Before I die, I don't know when that day is gonna come. You know, but you know how the world is. It's crazy. Everybody's just doing everything. So who knows? You know, but I at least want to see, like, before I go, you know, I want to see Black people everywhere in America prospering, going forward. You know, and I understand, like, you cannot expect change without having a solution. So my solution is to better myself. You know, so I can make the change. I can be the change. You know, I can go back and give to the youth. You know, they shouldn't have to live the life that I lived. My life wasn't all horrible. You know, it wasn't all that bad. I almost say, like, I had the worst life ever, but it wasn't a slice of cake. You know, and I don't want the youth to grow up in the situations that I had to endure because nobody cared enough to change their environment. You know.
Well, I thank you for your comments, because what Larry was talking about really shows the residual effects on the lack of investment that's supposed to come from the powers to be. I mean, we all pay taxes. We all contribute. Yet it seems as though because we don't have the right people in the right places politically to help our cause, and it seems as though people are comfortable with giving to certain groups and alienating others so that we won't be able to move and prosper and help our young men get out the streets so that they can hook up with people like Larry to get a, you know, not necessarily just a job, but a career and entrepreneurship, an opportunity to own their own business. You know, somebody like Tevin, I think, especially being as articulate that he is and knowledgeable he is, from the street on even to the boardroom, he would be the ideal person for somebody like me and Larry to grab and say, look, you don't have to do what you're doing in the streets. You know what I mean? I think I just heard the other radio broadcast with the gentleman in Chicago talking about the closing rate of murders is only about 14%. Well, that's not acceptable. Our tax dollars pay for our police to be efficient. And if anybody that was working for me that only gave a 14% effort out of 100 would definitely be fired. So we doing something wrong. If it's the same thing 3 hours from here that is going on here in Indianapolis, that the same problem of the clearance rates for closing murders is, I don't know, I think at one time they said 65%, but I don't know what percentage of that, you know, is for Black people. I do know that I believe it's like 70% of the homicides is Black people. So out of that percentage, I don't know how many, you know, cases is being closed for Black men on, you know, to be able to get the guy who killed the other guy. It's almost like street justice 3 hours from here. And you look right here, it's the same thing. This is systematic racism and discrimination is going on. And so I want to say to you guys, man, hey, let's keep fighting. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we celebrate holidays like we celebrate Labor Day, right, Larry? But when you want to celebrate holidays, we talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and celebrating his holiday. And we want to say, oh, he had a dream. Well, when he was sleeping, he had a dream. And he said, you know, we all can play with white people now and go to white people's stores and eat white people ice cream and drink their coffee and stuff like that. He had a dream just for that. No, he had a dream so that people like Larry in the Black Chamber will get their fair share of tax dollars to go in to help create businesses so people like Tevin can come and get invested in so that he can launch, so that he can hire his community. What would it look like if Tevin right now had access to resources to where he could pull these young men that we're snatching from death's door, like what I done with Tevin, snatch them from death's door. Somebody snatched me from death's door. You know what I'm saying? What if he had the ability to be able to come to Larry and be like, look, man, give me $10,000 so I can start my architectural firm because he's an artist. Give me around the right mentors that's doing this so I can plug into some of these city contracts. And I may not be able to handle the full architectural drawing project of everything, but just give me a piece where I can start learning and growing. That's what we need to do. That's what this thing should be about. I think I got a caller. Do I got a caller? I'm just running my mouth. I got a caller, I believe. I got a caller. Go ahead, caller. I think I got a caller. Go ahead, caller. All right. Well, we can't hear the caller, so we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait, and hopefully they will come back to be with us. I asked my wife to come and be a part of this conversation because she actually owns a store. But Larry, tell me a little bit more about the chamber, like how many people you got in the chamber and what your goals are.
Sure. We have about 302 members right now. And our goal right now, during this pandemic, we do a Facebook Live every Friday from 1 to 2. And this is SOS, shopping our stores. We started our own home shopping network for the Black businesses because of COVID, everybody being closed. This way we can, interview about 2 or 3 people and we can get their product out there outside of what's going on with COVID.
Okay, we got another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, if I'm calling, I have a Black-owned business that I would like to get some people know in the community that we are having a Labor Day sale to kind of give back to the community as well. The name of the retail store is Kate Closet. We're at 218 Keystone Court, and right now we are giving 20% off your first time purchase, and we have that.
Okay, I believe this is my wife, Shauna Lipscomb, and turn your radio down a little bit. Look, we all about Black business over here, Larry. She's got a wonderful store. I want you to go ahead and repeat yourself because the radio was turned up a little loud and they were not able to hear you clearly. So go ahead and say what you said again.
So, and a service of Labor Day, we are offering 20% off the first time purchase. Right now, we do have designer masks that we are selling, and so yeah, we're doing 20% off of any time the first time buyers. We're at 5218 Keystone Court, Kate Closet, retail store for women. We sell high fashion, and again, we are in observance of Labor Day, offering 20% off to our first-time customers.
Thank you, sweetheart. Go ahead and give that address again.
5218 Keystone Court.
5218
Keystone Court.
Keystone Court.
Yes, we have a look for every style.
She got to look for every style. Watch out now. You just keep on looking good for me, girl.
All right, well, thank you.
All right now. Now she got them designer masks. You know how people want them Gucci and all that and Prada and all that. I don't know about all the women clothes and stuff, but I know when the women be coming in there, they be like, man, this is great. I love this. I love that. She be asking me, okay, what type of clothes should I get? I'm like, man, I don't know about no women's clothes. But anyway, it's a nice store. The women love it. And so Black people, let's go support. It's right there at Keystone Court, right off 54th Street. All right, Larry, go ahead, man. I'm finished telling me about what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was saying that we're starting we're doing the shopping our stores, for the Black businesses that are closed because of COVID. And then That's our goal right now. We're trying to get a couple grants out. We partnered with LISC, LISC. So we're trying to get a couple grants put out for Black businesses who need extra help right now.
Wow, I think that's phenomenal. Now, one of the things we have done with our non-for-profit, we were not able to go into certain classroom settings because I don't know if you know it or not. We teach construction, certified people in constructions. We're looking to build out a full apprenticeship program for skilled trades. And we were not able to go into those classrooms. So what we did is we started doing all of our training primarily online. And then when someone comes to this facility for the final part of the construction training with the performance profile, then they have to go through the COVID training and videos as well to make sure everyone's safe. But we really have grown because of the pandemic instead of suffering. But at the same time, we're trying to launch another component of a full apprenticeship for carpentry. And I know off and on, me and Larry has been working together. But I want to say, like one of the struggles we have is because people like me and Larry, a lot of times we have to go into our own pocket in order to produce what we have. And a lot of times we get criticized when we have moments of challenge, but no one's really, looking to be that strong supporter, or even politically, people are not looking to, invest in us. So a lot of times we have these struggles, these ups and downs, and then people tend to want to say, hey, what, they ain't really this, they ain't really that. But wait a minute, this is not just for us. If it was just for us, then we would just concentrate on the high schools and we would concentrate on these other opportunities that would not necessarily be inclusive of Black businesses. So if you go into a Black business and you see some struggle there, maybe a price that you don't like, it may be a service that you think can be improved, the more you patronize that store instead of ostracizing them and talking about them, the stronger that store will be able to take that amount of money and reinvest it in their service so that they can have the top-notch service everybody else has. And I want to say this on this video. I don't know if you guys were looking at this video, but when you start talking about labor laws and all of that, I don't think that necessarily included Black people back in that 1868 or something like that. I don't think they said, okay, well, people are working 12-hour shifts and child labor and whatnot. I think that was more so included for white folks, if I'm not mistaken. We worked all day, all night, till you couldn't work no more. That's how we built this whole country. And still to this day, we're still working to overcome the deficit of the lack of investment that continues to happen all throughout this state. So, Larry, you want to comment on that a little bit, and then I'm going to go to Tevin.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think we were included in that whole labor law now. And if you look up the definition of picnic, you would not say picnic again as a Black person. So these are certain things that we need to know our history so that we don't make the same mistake of and speaking the same conversation that they're having.
Well, I agree. And I want to say to my radio listening audience, if you want to be a part of this show, just simply call 317-239-1310. This is your show, folks. If we want to make changes, it's not going to be just in the voting box. It's also going to be with us being able to employ some of these young men and women that are struggling. And the way we do that is by investing in these Black businesses. What you think, Tevin? I know you're an avid reader and you heard the video. I wanted from a young people's perspective, what's your thoughts about this?
Hey, my thoughts is always on a forward moving motion. Like we can't do nothing about the past. We can only do something about the future. And that's always where my head is at. It's about the now and about the future. How we gonna go forward? What are we gonna do different from the past? We've been broken down at every time, every turn. You feel me? We always get shot down, whether physically, financially, mentally, something. You feel me? Like we always getting shot down. So with that being said, it's just like like I pay attention to history. Learn your history. Like not to piggyback off of what brother said, but yeah, no. If you really knew the definition of the word picnic, no, you probably wouldn't use it. And honestly, I feel like that about a lot of things that's normal or considered normal amongst Black people. Like there's a lot of things that we are very uneducated about. And like I say, I want to be the change that pushes that mindset, to be different. Like to educate. Like I want Black people, young Black people, older Black people. I don't care who you are. I want Black people to want to learn. I want Black people to want to know how they can affect, the world in a more positive way. It's a struggle. Yes, it's always gonna be a struggle, but we got to make it happen, and it has to happen. Like while I'm breathing, it's going to happen.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, because the election is coming up, right? We got the election, and young people. It seems to me they not going to just run to the ballot box out of fear of Donald Trump or any other candidate. I think that the young people, if I'm not mistaken, from what I'm hearing, is that they're going to be involved politically based on what's going to happen in relations to forwarding a Black agenda. If it's not necessarily going to make something happen, like you just mentioned. Not looking in the background, but looking at what's in front of us and how, we're going to make these changes. Do you agree with that? Is that where most, young people are in relations to, how they're going to cast their vote politically? Are they going to be stuck on Democrat and Republican, or are they going to really look at how they want to, make things happen?
Honestly, to young people, politics is more of a joke. People who get into politics, they know about politics. They understand a lot more. But as far as like the mass majority of young Black people, they look at politics as a joke. They look at it as I gotta choose between two clowns, and none of this is ever really going to affect me except in the worst way possible. So, and it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad that is the mindset, of so many young people, and they want we want problems. We want change, but we don't know. Like the world is constantly lying to us, but we don't know really what we're going to get if we vote for anything. Like if we vote for him, if we vote for her, if we vote for this person or that person, we don't know really what's going to change. Like there's a lot of people who do know what specifically they are affecting, but as the mass majority, as young people, we don't know. And that's why people they tend to separate themselves and stay away from things that they don't understand. And honestly, especially young Black people, like, hey man, like it's war with us. It's war between us. It's war out in the world. All we see is constant war. So with that being said, it's just like, who is going to change this? Who's going to change this? We try to change it ourselves, but we can't. We can only do so much. So it's just like, when it comes down to politics, it's like, young people, I feel like more young people should get into politics. More young people should know what's affecting them around them. But honestly, not everybody's thinking that from that perspective. And I don't know if people aren't saying the right words. I don't know if we've been broken down so many times, like where people just don't have any hope. But as far as young people, like getting young people to vote, it's hard. It's difficult. Like even I'm not the smartest, but I'm slightly educated, and even I don't take the steps necessary to go out and vote, because I'm just like, oh man, it's just like tossing a coin inside of a pond, wishing for better. Like, is it really going to change? Is anything really going to change, or are these people just talking pretty? Like, and that's kind of where young people are right now when it comes down to voting and everything. But honestly, like, I feel like people should, like, they definitely educate themselves on what they can do to change, because maybe what's going on right now isn't ideal, but it's all we got. It's all we can do. And there's a lot of Black people who's in position to help us move forward. and they're doing their best, they're doing their damnedest. They're putting both boots on and putting their fist up. They ain't being knocked down easily. But even them, like they can only do so much. So it's just like, where is the black party? Where is the black government? Where is the black people? There's so much that can separate us, but what's really bringing us together? What's something that we can all feel like we're really a part of? Being black, like we all love it. Yeah, we love it, but it's just like, okay, what comes with this? But what else comes with this but pain? What else comes with this but struggle? And it's like, if you aren't necessarily born in that position of, where you are wealthy and everything, like, then you're definitely going to feel this a lot more. But even the black people who have money, they still feel this weight on their shoulders, like something is just not right. And it's the world, and we all feel it. We all know it. It's a sense of hopelessness, because like, we don't know how we can change it 100%. Like, we don't know how we can actually turn everything around where it's peace on earth, where it's love, nothing but love between each other, where we can actually go forward, prosper, and build. And you can walk inside a black community, not see, death and destruction everywhere. So when it comes down to politics, man, it's just like, people need to educate themselves, but also, like, people need to know what in the world they want.
Well, you know what? I like what you're saying, man, and I think it's important. And so when you hear what's going on this show, right?
Yeah.
What we're saying is, instead of celebrating Labor Day by the way of going to grab some ribs and some chicken and talk about how good the sauce is going to be and all that, we're talking about black businesses right now, right? We're not talking about how we can go to work and get, so many dollars for working. We're talking about now we want to be the employers, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, when we make that as a statement from an economic position, that is a political stance. And so when we try to do this, there's political forces that can either support and help us financially reach our goal, or they could be our opposition and stop us from receiving the necessary tax dollars that can go into our business to help it become a success. So when we say to the young people, get out and vote, we're not just saying get out and vote just to be voting. We're saying, look at people like Larry and others who are trying to build something special and unique for black people. And talk to him and say, hey, Larry, who would you support with your organization politically that will have a mindset of wanting to help our agenda? When you look at people like Malcolm X and you look at Martin Luther King, this is what their movement looks like. If they were raised from the dead right now, they would be talking about black businesses. They would be talking about how we can give people careers instead of jobs. That's what Martin Luther King and Malcolm X would be talking about right now. So, Larry, I want you to chime in, man. I know we're running out of time eventually, but I want you to kind of piggyback off what he was saying, because I know, he said a lot, but it made a lot of sense that the young people really just don't know how things work. And it wasn't until we got involved that we start figuring out how things really was. When I'm going to say this, then I'm going to pass it to Larry. I've been Democrat all my life. All right, I go down. I want to try to represent my community. It's 60% black in the district that I'm trying to run for. I'm thinking, oh, this is a no-brainer. This brother out here trying to, reach out to the homeless, trying to, do programs, trying to help this and that. This is a no-brainer. But when I get down to the Democratic group, they tell me we already got our man. Well, how do you already have your man and the people haven't voted? Basically, what they're saying is we in charge of everybody's vote, no matter who you are. And so I learned very quickly that politics and being able to receive investment to come to your community is being stifled by different parties, whether it be the Democrat, whether it be the Republican. I ran as an independent, but we have been throwing our votes away to people who don't really care about us. Then we start complaining about our roads. We start complaining about the housing. We start complaining about not enough black businesses. But all throughout, you see different businesses, mom and pop shops popping up downtown, leading all the way up. Our community is being gentrified. One house used to be only $10,000, now it's 200,000, 300,000. You start seeing this happen, and you know that it can be done, but we're not doing it. Larry, what do you say to this? Because Black people are working against each other instead of for each other, and it's confusing our young people.
Yeah, I mean, I love what he said as far as, the young people aren't sure of, who to vote for. I know we talk about this president, and, we don't know, between the two president, between Biden and Trump, like which one will help. I would tell you that we need to focus more on the local election, because those are the ones that really decide what goes on in our lives. And so the local election is real important as far as your city, county council person, your mayor, all those people. That is what we need to educate our young people on immediately. But with the protests, I love that the young people are putting pressure on the world and saying, look, we're not taking it no more. And I mean, these are the younger generation that has came up and did this and doing it peacefully. I mean, of course, we have these other things going on, but I mean, they have came out peacefully. They have organized the whole country to shut down the country through protests. And I mean, they got to keep their foot on the neck of this country. They got the foot, they got the knee on our necks, you know what I'm saying? So the young generation, I love that they keep this pressure. Hopefully they can keep this pressure up on the country, because now the country is trying to change, but as soon as we back off, the country going to be like, oh, it's over with, I'm done. But as long as they keep that pressure going, things are going to change.
Before we get, and I like that, Larry. Before we get off the air, I want to go ahead and give this video out of this employment opportunity that we have for young people and others to be involved. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm going to play this commercial.
Are you looking for a job that can lead to a career opportunity? MCC and OPS have teamed up to provide education training and job opportunities. We're looking for people that want to learn and work at the same time. We have open enrollment for training in the field of construction and job placement. For more information, contact us at 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org. Are you looking for a job that can lead to a career opportunity? MCC and OPS have teamed up to provide education training and job opportunities. We're looking for people that want to learn and work at the same time. We have open enrollment for training in the field of construction and job placement. For more information, contact us at 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org. Again, that phone number is 317-991-3150 or email info@mccindiana.org.
That's our commercial. If you want to be a part of training and job placement, where you can get a job as well as training, you're being sponsored by Minority Contractors Collaboration. This show is. Feel free to go on our website and you can register today. The website is mccindiana.org, mccindiana.org, which sponsors this show. All right, I'm going back into this, guys. To kind of sum it up, what are your thoughts? I mean, when it comes to this Black business, I mean, Larry, help us to know where you're going and how more people can get involved. But let me say this to you. As well. When you bring the Black business together, we know that there's a political connotation. And you mentioned the local voting process, and I would almost argue even including the state into that. Into that. How are you organizing your group to be able to first have some level of a, Black business journal or some type of way we know where Black businesses are, and two, how those Black businesses can get involved politically so that we are not just voting straight ticket, but we vote for people that will have our interests in mind.
Sure. As far as the directory, if you go online at ndbcc.org, we have all our members on there. If you click on their name, it tells what they do. It also says where they're at and, their Facebook and all that information. So that's our directory. It's all our members that's on the directory, and that should be over 300 people. As far as the voting and how we're getting Black businesses to vote, we are meeting with the mayor of Fishers in 2 weeks just to talk to him about what he's doing in Fishers for Black businesses. We also have a voting committee where we have people who are teaching people about not just about Democrats and Republican, but just about politics in general. As in Indianapolis, as far as the Black vote, it mostly goes to Democrat. So in Indianapolis is the only one that has the straight ticket that you had to buy into. And so that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother conversation.
You're talking about the slating.
Slating. Yeah, they're the only ones that do slating. Is Indianapolis the only one do slating? Other cities in Indiana don't even do slating. That's an Indianapolis thing.
Yeah, I think Representative John Bartlett wrote to try to get the slating stopped. Tevin, man, I know I just threw you in the waters, man. You got some final comments as we kind of go to the end of the show? Give us about a minute of your final comments.
My final comments: stay Black, stay happy, man. Keep a smile on your face till we in that grave.
All right. Well, let me say this. I just believe that this young man has a bright future. A lot of times people don't know. I come from Indiana. I'm living in Indianapolis. I was born and raised in Indianapolis, but I had moved to Joliet and Peoria, and I was pastoring on Peoria. I lost everything. I came back home with 2 bags of clothes, depressed and suicidal. But yet God, delivered me and gave me another chance, another lease on life. Own my own house. I have a beautiful wife and have a son. We have a blended family. And I'm the only Black man in the state of Indiana. Was a nationally accredited school for the skilled trades. So God will bring you back. And, I'm so thankful to have Tevin in my life, because he kind of represents, someone who we're going to deposit our opportunities and chances. He came and he's a part of our training. He's getting ready, to work next week. And we just hooked up, 2 days ago or something, Tevin?
Yes, sir.
So God is good, and hopefully one day, once he gets all on his feet, we'll be channeling him right over to Larry, to start his own business. So, gentlemen, I just want to thank you for taking this time out, to share and be committed. And, and we got to get involved. I say if we start talking about who killed who, seem like the lines will blow up. If we on something negative, seem like everybody got a comment. But when we're talking about doing something positive, seem like the lines go dead. But thank you so much for tuning in on our show. Black Power Presents. Continue to follow us. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.
Black people need to own our own businesses, which will provide an economic base. Teach our youth to become self-sufficient. Learn how to maximize our political affiliations and fight for criminal justice reform. You just tuned in to Black Power Presents with your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Come on.